Welcome to my Days of Our Lives official channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Chanel's symptoms, the pawn's disturbing mission. Julie gets a shock. Days of Our Lives reveal that Marlena Evans will run into Everett Lynch aka Robert Bobby Stein so that LL give her a chance to ask questions about his decision to stop their remedy sessions. Everett claimed he didn't want to dig any deeper and sounded downright rattled when he walked out of Marlena's office that day. Still, Marlena latterly caught Everett misleading Stephanie Johnson, who sounded hopeful about his remedy, continuing to help him. When Marlena quizzes Everett on Tuesday's DOL occasion, day spoilers suggest she may notice some changes. Trim Bobby might come out to play again and act like he's doing great now, so Marlena may be confused over his newfound confidence. Over with Chanel DiMera, some other disquieting symptoms will develop in addition to her prostration. Day spoilers say Johnny DiMera and Paulina Price will see some disturbing health warning signs, so they contend Chanel needs to head to the sanitarium incontinently. Once Chanel is admitted there, Kayla Johnson will examine her and run some tests. It wouldn't take long for Kayla to figure out that Chanel is suffering from radiation poisoning, so Paulina will feel awful for exposing her son and making her sick. Across city, day spoilers say Julie Williams will get updates on Maggie Kyriaki's and Constantine Meliuni's engagement news, so she'll get a shock and voice her enterprises. While Maggie defends her marriage decision to Julie, Constantine will deliver new orders to John Black. Now that John's programming has been reactivated, he'll be helpless to stop Constantine and will have to accept his charge as the pawn. It turns out Constantine will have a veritably specific charge in mind that's sure to beget chaos, so it'll be intriguing to see what the pawn does next. Days of Our Lives spoilers say Constantine will continue all his revengeful designing, so stick with us for further prognostications on the wild twists that are still to come. EJ's Jude discovery, Chanel's poisoning, John's pawn mission, Leo choked doubly. Days of Our Lives spoilers for the week of April 29, 2024 reveal that an action-packed and satisfying videotape exercise clip has been released. It features Leo Stark, Greg Ricard, telling EJ DiMera, Dan Feuerriegel, the Verity. EJ goes after Sloan Peterson Brady, Jessica Surfety. Chanel DiMera, Raven Bowens, has radiation poisoning. Plus, Constantine Meliuni's, John Capellos, has a charge for John Black aka the Pawn, Drake Hodgson. Days of Our Lives spoilers, EJ DiMera's Discovery DOL spoilers for the week of April 29 reveal that the exercise clip focuses heavily on the Jude plot. Sloan cuts off Leo financially, so he tells EJ the Verity about Jude Brady. Of course, EJ doesn't believe Leo formally again. Rather of punching Leo, this time EJ tries to strangle him with a necktie. Leo manages to utter that he's telling the Verity. Ultimately, EJ releases his grip on Leo. Standing back in shock, EJ suddenly realizes Leo is telling the Verity. DOL spoilers, Sloan Peterson Brady's downfall during the week of April 29. Suckers will also see Sloan's downfall. EJ screams at Sloan, who is Jude in her arms, that the baby doesn't belong to her. Sloan grabs the baby closer to her casket and turns down, as if she thinks EJ is about to snare the child out of her arms. EJ also screams at Sloan and calls her a choice name. Latterly in the videotape exercise clip, Eric Brady, Greg Vaughn, points in wrathfulness. Eric will also try to choke Leo. Days of Our Lives spoilers, week of April 29, 2024. During the week of April 29, suckers can anticipate Constantine to turn John into the pawn. John transforms and asks Constantine about his charge. Constantine will also press Teresa Donovan, Emily O'Brien, to help him get out of Maggie Horton Kyriaki's, Suzanne Rogers, connubial agreement. That will clearly be easier said than done, however. Plus, Kayla Johnson, Mary Beth Evans, judgments Chanel with radiation poisoning. Kayla comforts Paulina Price, Jackie Harry, who admits her son's illness is her fault. Meanwhile, Johnny DiMera, Carson Boatman, embraces Chanel, who's sitting in an exigency triage room. Will Chanel end up being okay? Johnny and Chanel sure do'n't have the stylish of luck when it comes to their romantic life. Hopefully, Chanel will be suitable to come out of this alright. Sends 2 further characters off into the sunset, but is it for good? All products and services featured are singly chosen by editors. Still, soaps.com may admit a commission on orders placed through its retail links, and the retailer may admit certain auditable data for counting purposes. And with that, Days of Our Lives has transferred another couple off into the evening for what we hope is a taste of happiness. After a disastrous detention that nearly killed them, Tripp and Wendy left Salem for Hong Kong on the Monday, April 29th occasion. Wendy may, eventually, feel safe again without Tripp's family drama hanging over her head. Further, the real trouble to Constantine is, spoiler, it's an exit that the show teased a while back, with Tripp and Wendy nearly heading out to be with Wendy's parents on the other side of the world, only to be drawn back into Ava's drama and peril. The following hijacking at the hands of Clyde's henchwoman/nut, Goldman, traumatized Wendy enough to move her that they really did need to get out of Salem, and the two eventually made good on their plans to leave for Hong Kong. All products and services featured are singly chosen by editors. Still, soaps.com may admit a commission on orders placed through its retail links, and the retailer may admit certain auditable data for counting purposes. And with that, Days of Our Lives has transferred another couple off into the evening for what we hope is a taste of happiness. After a disastrous detention that nearly killed them, Tripp and Wendy left Salem for Hong Kong on the Monday, April 29th occasion. Wendy may, eventually, feel safe again without Tripp's family drama hanging over her head. Further, the real trouble to Constantine is, spoiler, it's an exit that the show teased a while back, with Tripp and Wendy nearly heading out to be with Wendy's parents on the other side of the world, only to be drawn back into Ava's drama and peril. The following hijacking at the hands of Clyde's henchwoman/nut, Goldman, traumatized Wendy enough to move her that they really did need to get out of Salem, and the two eventually made good on their plans to leave for Hong Kong. They recalling it an extended trip and promised to return, but also mentioned that Tripp would be taking Mandarin classes over there and volunteering as a croaker. And formerly the youthful couple started talking about Steve, Kayla, and Ava visiting. It started to sound further and more like a move than a trip. So while this likely isn't the last we ever see of them, they could be gone for some time. We do know, still, that Victoria Grace was at the 15,000th occasion festivity, which means she'll presumably be back in some way by December when the show airs. Constantine is not backing down from Teresa. Days of Our Lives spoilers says he's a man that knows what he wants and will get what he wants. It appears as though Constantine is making a new demand from Teresa and is going to stop at nothing to make sure effects go his way. Keep reading below for everything you need to know. Days of Our Lives spoilers, Constantine is not backing down from Teresa. According to the rearmost edition of Soap Opera Digest, Constantine wants Teresa to help him get relief of the prenup that he inked after he proposed to Maggie, but Teresa doesn't suppose it's a good idea. Constantine also reminds Teresa that he owns her, and that everyone will find out that the verity about how she switched Victor's will to name Alex as his son rather than Xander. Emily O'Brien, who plays Teresa on the mega-hit Peacock Cleaner, puts it this way: Teresa's dug herself into a deep hole. She allowed. It was going to be one thing and done, no way speak about it again. But these effects continue to unfold, putting her deeper into the situation with Constantine. And also to have to deal with the prenup. What does she have to do with that? Eventually, it's a veritably delicate favor to ask, because it's insolvable. How is she supposed to go in there and get relief of a prenup? It's just so ridiculous. Days of Our Lives spoilers, what's next for Teresa? That's when Constantine reminds Teresa that she can't do anything without his concurrence, because of her fiddle.